Now, before I came to present the segment, I Googled military brutality in Ghana, and the search items runs into several pages. I'm getting that for you shortly. But this certainly does not look good on the image of military in Ghana. Anytime there's a brutality, the military spokesperson will come out and say they are investigating, and then what happens? Your guess is as good as mine. So I want you to share with me, but let's check out the page. And first one, soldiers allegedly brutalized 4 minors over missing laptop. And you can see,
which happens to be the story we carried earlier today.
The story we carried earlier today. And you can see the...
So here's another one.
Another one
this
over
one,
there.
Soldiers beat civilians in Takrady. And this happened March 16, 2017.
2017, last year.
And then soldiers
another one
in
here.
Brutality of teenager given 10 days to answer charges. Okay, so this one was a big one.
That was in 2016.
The victim had to be put in an ambulance, carried in an ambulance from...
And I remember we followed the story through,
yeah.
Because the victim was badly, beaten. He had a problem with the spinal cord or something like that.
So then this other one, Yoran nudges Shra to release report on 2-year-old military brutality case.
And in all of these stories we're seeing, this is, this one happened, I think, in 2016, yes. And up to date, nothing has happened. All of these stories we're showing you, we haven't had anything. So I want you to share with me. I want to know whether you have ever been brutalized by security forces, or whether you know anyone who has been brutalized by security forces.
But I've had a couple of friends that have gone through something like that before, and so now they've still been traumatized about the whole issue. Well, I don't have a problem with them brutalizing them as far as they are guilty. I don't have a problem with them, because you'll be surprised they might even send them to jail or prison or anything like that. And they might have maybe brothers or uncles in high places that might just, take them right out. We saw the same issue with the judges recently. So brutalizing them if they are guilty, I don't have any problem with that. As far as they don't die, they can beat them.
They're the ones enforcing the laws, but in the fact that you are still infringing injury on people, it's not the very best. So I want to entreat our soldiers to be a bit more lenient. I know we are stubborn people generally, but please be a bit more lenient. There are other ways aside brutalizing and beating people that you can adopt to keep everybody in check in the country.
I have seen it once during my registration for national service at LWAC. I think the soldiers made the students make a line, so everyone may have each turn at the end of the line. Yeah. And then some people try to enter into this line. One soldier got up and then used his belt on one lady. It's not right. It's not right.
If we all resort to brutalities, I don't think we'll have that convenient environment to operate. You hit me, I hit you. Because you have the gun, you hit me, I try and also get gun. I also counter whatever weapon you have, and that wouldn't augur well for us as a nation. The fact that you are in a uniform doesn't give you the permission or the guts or the infantry to lower your hands on a security or a civilian.
So I'll get to speak with a human rights activist who's joining us on Skype shortly. But let's check out your messages on Facebook.
Right, so Enoch Injibri says, I witnessed a case in Bimbila where a military man whipped a man who was old enough to be his father for allowing the son to pick him on motor because they had banned 2 people sitting on one motorcycle. These people came from Dambai in the Volta region and pleaded that they did not know of the ban, but this man in uniform wouldn't listen to that. The cut on the man's elbow was, Nana Edu Kofi says, okay, I'll skip yours because you're using some invectives. Baba Wala says, are there jobs in the bush or in the city? Can't they see their uniform resemble leaves and grass? And Edward Mockley says, would they ever accept being victims of stealing that laptop since they knew it's a crime? If you cry for the chicken, you need to sympathize with Kwakwanobi too. Let's not entertain these petty thieves in the name of human rights. The one whose item was taken is a human and also have has an equal right. There are many kids within the same community, and the question is, why them? There is no smoke without fire. So you're suggesting that they may have been responsible for the theft of the laptops. Boating Wachi Henry says they get trained and they only go for peacekeeping when they need be. If nothing happens here, they are always free. So that's what they will continue to do to us. I think the government has to start using them the Rawlings way. I don't know whatever you mean. But I mean, in any situation, I mean, if the person, the military are not law enforcement agencies. They're supposed to handle whatever case it is to the police.
Definitely. So yes, and of course you can't. The person is not guilty until proven guilty. Yeah. So you can't
which is the reason why actually you don't bring the military from the barracks until there's a state of emergency.
Before they come in. So of course it's a matter that needs to be looked at. And the interesting issue is that, I mean, in all of this, the spokesperson will come out and say we are investigating, and we never get to get the outcome of that investigation.
Yeah, except the police also sometimes are the receiving end of
it's quite an interesting brutality. Yes. So joining me on Skype is a human rights activist and lawyer, Dennis. Okay, so we're trying to bring Dennis Ama back and speak to him on Skype.
All right, so let's get to read some more comments. Ashwood Young says, if I say I will talk, only insults will come out from my mouth. This country, let me come and be going by myself. Why? And Alexander Tete says, you see all this, why can't justice prevail in this country? Just because you give somebody suspects, is that the way you have to do it? I'm ashamed for them.
All right, so let's get to speak with a human rights activist and lawyer, Dennis Ama. He joins us via phone because we're unable to get him on Skype. So, good evening to you, Counsel. Yet another brutality, and the military command has stated that they would investigate. Aren't we having too many of such cases?
Well, indeed, it's a concern, especially after over 2 decades of democracy under the 92 Constitution. One would expect that security agencies would know what the rules are under this Constitution and how they are to perform their functions in a democratic constitutional dispensation. And it appears that not much of an example is made of these situations to educate the few recalcitrant members of security forces to avoid such situations happening. But I believe if the rules are enforced, especially on our security agencies who are to enforce the laws of our country and defend our constitution, then with time we might see a decrease in such cases.
On the face of it, what violations can you identify?
Well, this appears to be a clear case of torture and of unlawful detention. And it's unlawful because this is not a situation which was to be dealt with by the military. It was something which happened outside the camps or jurisdiction of the military. And it was the children involved were not members of the armed forces. And so to what seems to have happened, which was to subject them to some irregular kind of military discipline, was not supposed to be the case. The police have a right to detain a person for 48 hours and carry out investigations. But under normal circumstances, the police do not have that. The military do not have that power or do not share that power with the police. And so to arrest civilians in that manner and also
it's quite worrying.
Torture, yes, and also to take them through such torture is contrary to our laws, and particularly Article 14.
So beyond the military investigating the matter, what else can be done to ensure the children get justice?
Oh, the report so far indicates that the parents have made a complaint to SHRAJ, but nothing also prevents them, in spite of the existence of these options of the military carrying out its own investigations and a SHRAJ investigation, nothing prevents them from going to court to seek redress. That is allowed, notwithstanding other remedies available to them.
All right,
And
many
so
thanks
if
to
they
you.
feel they are not getting justice, or the processes are not being expedited from that, and they still reserve the right to go to court on a human rights complaint against the military for actions of torture which the young children were made to undergo.
Thank you very much. Dennis Ama is a lawyer and a human rights activist. So let's jump on to other issues, and it's the cedi depreciation. You need at least 4 cedis, 80 pesos to buy $1, and the cedi is running. What haven't we done to it? Pastors have prayed for it to rise, and it did not. Then we heard dwarfs have been sitting on our cedi. It is apparent now that the cedi is not under arrest, as our beloved Vice President told us. So how are you being affected by the continuous depreciation of the cedi?
It makes the standard of living in the country fall. As I know that most of the countries, or most of us in the country use this dollar thing, or we use it in transaction, which is very bad. Because as we are in Ghana, we think we need to use our currency in transaction of business, but we normally use the dollar just to transact business, which is very bad. And besides, it ends up boosting, or it ends up increasing the dollar rate in the country.
Someone who imports a product outside the country brings a commodity, or let's say goods. Basically, the person has to increase or put, let's say, some percentage on the product. That's what, let's say, he or she is selling. Because once the dollar rate increases, the cost of any item outside will also increases, and basically to affect everything as an individual.
It has affected me positively because getting money from outside to this place, it increases the amount of money I get in cedis over here. But relating to other people, it's negative because of the market. As the rate goes higher, the prices of the goods also go higher.
I don't think it has affected me in any way, because I don't even know that it has been rising. I think those people who will feel it are those who buy and sell things in large quantities.
Interesting. So it's affecting some people positively.
Oh, yeah.
All right, let's check out your comments on Facebook.
Albeit, Abet Flee says, an import-oriented economy will always go through this challenge, but I'm hopeful the situation will be normalized. The only problem is when the fundamentals of your PhD is weak, the cedi will expose you. And Basalvia says, where is Baumia? Kofi Amako says, in fact, this cedi depreciation is affecting my life as a whole. I have gained admission abroad, but I can't pay my fees due to this problem. Ghanaian leaders don't even think just a second about the youth trying to risk everything to achieve their dreams and goals by themselves. James Abusanga says the depreciation of the cedi affects us because most of the gadgets we use in Ghana are imported and their prices are quoted in dollars. How can you arrest the dollar and allow it to escape and escalate in this manner? No long talk. Get it rearrested and hand the keys over to the IGP again. But wait, the IGP also needs to be arrested for aiding and abetting.
And Tomato Cobbler says that evil dwarf and his oh my goodness, that's a bit so harsh. And Abdulaziz says, I hope this time it will not be described as political propaganda. Ghanaians are watching. Let's switch our attention to Parkwesi Indum PPP. Randolph the Baron says, and I quote, you can engage in all the propaganda, but if the fundamentals are weak, the exchange rate will expose you. Dr. Baumia, good evening. The economic King Kong, and I ask again, weak fundamentals, and those are very interesting comments on Facebook. And as we wrap up the interactive segment, my name is Aisha Ibrahim. Tomorrow we'll continue on how the cedi is affecting you. Have a great one.
Thank you.